I had a pretty strong hunch that my last dinner in Lugano, my splurge dinner at Flamel, was going to be outstanding. My hunch turned out to be well-founded. It didn't take me long, once I was seated, to decide I wanted the full 7-course tasting menu, with a pairing of wine and mixology. More on the latter in a bit. When I told the waitress I was likely to have lots of questions as to details, possibly more than once for each dish, she didn't seem alarmed or annoyed. On the contrary, she seemed pleased by my interest and said I should ask her whatever I wanted about any details as often as I liked. Wines and mixology? That meant we started off with one of the bar's cocktail creations, with the amuse-bouche. What were the amuse-bouche? Right. Starting in the middle, inside the wrap, a fried carrot with romesco sauce. On the left, a bao with a cavolo sauce inside, and a marinated caper leaf on top. And on the right, a chip filled with a cashew cream and a bit of black garlic on top. Then, the first cocktail, which you can see I've already tasted. Made from the house's own wild fennel distillate, along with their own pear extract, a round of green apple sorbet down at the bottom, a leaf of lemon balm, and a squirt of essential oil derived from wild fennel. That went down very nicely. Bread arrived a few minutes after the amuse-bouche. Tall grissini made, or rather pulled, by hand, bread made from mixed Ticino gray semi-whole wheat flours, salted butter with bay leaf powder, and in the center, a chip made from cornmeal with pumpkin and other seeds, along with sesame. I could have gone through a whole batch of those chips. We came to the first course. Marinated and smoked amberjack, with fig leaf oil, a bit of piri-piri, pickled kohlrabi and preserved lemon, as well as sea fennel or rock samphire. Amberjack is a fish I particularly like, and this was a fantastic preparation. It led to high expectations for the continuation of the meal. To accompany the next dish, there was another mixology creation. This one had a name, Martino Cap, and a story to explain the name, which of course I've forgotten. I haven't forgotten the ingredients. Flamel's homemade gin with lemongrass extract, clarified pink grapefruit, and chamomile. Good thing the glass wasn't any bigger. I would have kept drinking that right through dinner. Such a great drink. Cardoncelli, or king oyster mushrooms, were the protagonists of the second antipasto. These came in 3 different preparations. A cream at the bottom of the bowl. The large mushroom in the center was glazed, with 2 slices of raw mushroom resting on it. They all floated in a creamy miso sauce dotted with black garlic powder. Dishes don't come any more umami than this. Before we proceeded, we moved to the first of the actual wines. That was a spumante from the Piemonte winery Contratto in Asti. This was a pas dosé, or zero dosage, made from 80% Pinot Noir and 20% Chardonnay. It accompanied the primo, a tightly wound coil of pappardelle. Homemade, obviously, with a knife-cut ragout of duck, with the addition of cinnamon and burnt lemon powder. This was sprinkled over the kumquat slices on top, with 3 herb and flower leaves as added decoration. Very rich, and an extremely satisfying primo with intense early autumn flavors. The appearance of an organic Friulano produced by the winery Sturm in Cormons in Friuli heralded the imminent arrival of the next course. Friulano, one of my favorite white varietals, meant we had come to the first of 2 secondi, fish. This was ombrina, or umbrine, a fish I really like, which we never get in Vienna. Here it was parboiled and incredibly tender, served with its cooking juices along with roast pumpkin, a bit of pumpkin puree, pumpkin seeds, a shallot compote under the pumpkin, and beurre blanc. In the back, on a separate plate, a perfect zucchini flower of a freshness we also never see in Vienna. An exquisite fish dish. I also noticed that I was gradually getting full. Time to pace myself for the remaining 3 plates. An unusual Italian red blend was brought for the second main, called Terre, made by the San Leonardo winery near Avio, at the bottom end of the Trentino, closer to Verona than to Trento. It was made from Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Carmenere, which I'm familiar with from Chilean reds, but not from Italian reds. This was a great pick for what followed, a thick venison rib. Roasted and finished with butter, its juices had been enhanced by black currants. It came with 3 different preparations of celeriac, one of my favorite vegetables. There were 2 blades of raw celeriac sprinkled with burnt celeriac powder. In between them was a cream under the leaves, and on the other side of the rib, a roast wedge with a dusting of coffee. As to the nasturtium flower on the top, that had been harvested from Flamel's roof garden, which the waitress said they used up to the beginning of December. I hope you can imagine how indescribably wonderful this dish was, from the meat itself to its juices and the celeriac. After the venison, before we continued with what I had been told would be 2 desserts, there was a brief pause, during which I just sat and savored the wine. When we continued, a sauterne from Château Lange Réglin, 90% Sémillon, 10% Sauvignon Blanc, was served. This went with dessert number 1, which had quite a few components. Invisible at the bottom was a cake made with mixed citrus. The cream you see was a lemon curd foam. The pink fruits are a compote of fresh mandarins and pink grapefruit. In the middle is a generous scoop of gelato made from yogurt with cardamom, and surrounding the gelato are caramelized popcorn pieces. Popcorn is one of the very, very few food items I'm not a fan of. But in this caramelized homemade version, I was happy to make an exception. Wonderfully refreshing and not too sweet. I asked for a quick break before dessert number 2 and apologized for being such a slow eater. The other guests had all gone home very early. A final mixology creation was paired with the second dessert. Its name was Porn Star Martini. So we had their homemade gin, to which a puree of clarified passion fruit had been added. There was lime, too, and again a squirt of essential oils, this time juniper and lavender. Let me tell you, even if the dinner hadn't been so spectacular, it would have been worth coming purely for the mixology. Dessert number 2. That banana you see in the front is fake, of course. It's colored white chocolate, with a banana mousse inside the tongue-in-cheek peel. In the back, there's a triangular construction of biscuits made from hazelnuts and meringue, both enveloping a sorbet of passion fruit. Here's what the banana mousse looked like once I'd cut through the colored white chocolate peel. 3 delectable post-desserts, too. A macaroon filled with salted caramel, a round of hazelnut cream, and the pinwheel on the right was made with raspberry and marshmallow. What an exceptional dinner! I had finished my Porn Star Martini, so just water to go with the final 3 treats. Then it was a quick walk to my bus stop. I was too tired and too blissfully full to walk back to where I was staying.